South Ops Fire Weather Webcast for Thursday, October 24th. I'm your host, Kristen Stewart. Once again, there is not much of a marine layer out there this morning, and as such, there are pretty much no low clouds across the coast. Instead, there are lots of high clouds streaming in that is giving way to partly to mostly cloudy skies. That should be the theme of the weather today, with continued warm temperatures before we get a big change come next week. It will continue to be a nice and peaceful week of weather, as a fairly weak ridge of high pressure centered to our south remains in control through Saturday. Dry weather along with above normal temperatures will be the theme of the next few days, with little daily change. Temperatures will generally remain 5 to 10 degrees above normal through Saturday. Highs will continue to favor the 80s in the valleys and high desert, and 60s to low 70s in the lower mountains and coastal plains. The nights will also be comfortable, with cool overnight lows dropping mostly into the 50s. The air mass will remain dry with minimum humidity mostly in the 12 to 25% range above and inland from the shallow marine layer influence through Saturday. Some desert areas and drier interior slopes may lower into the single digits. There will also continue to be areas of poor recoveries in the deserts and some mid and upper slopes. Winds will remain mostly light through Saturday, continuing to exhibit typical diurnal and terrain-driven trends. Late into the weekend and continuing through next week, the weather will transition back to a trough-dominated pattern, though there remains some uncertainty as to how things will evolve, especially by the time we get to the middle of the week. Models have come into good agreement that there will be a Pacific trough moving through the region late in the day on Sunday through around Tuesday that will serve to bring significant cooling. They are also in good agreement that it will not have much of an overwater trajectory and will take more of an inside track sliding along the California coast. As a result, it will not be much of a precipitation maker and will be more of a wind maker. There is low confidence in the forecast evolution by the time we get to the middle of next week, but models indicate a continuation of some degree of troughing across the west. Slight cooling and moistening are likely on Sunday with increased onshore flow as the Pacific trough approaches the state. More significant cooling is likely on Monday, with valley highs returning to below normal in the 60s and low 70s. There will also be improvement in humidity on Monday, with minimums increasing to around 20 to 40% away from the deserts. Similar conditions are expected to persist on Tuesday. Since the Pacific trough is not expected to have much of an overwater trajectory as it approaches the coast, it will not be able to bring much in the way of precipitation. Despite this, there is still a chance of scattered shower activity across the region from Sunday afternoon through Tuesday, likely favoring the mountains. Rainfall will be very light over central and southern California, with most areas totaling 1/10 of an inch or less. A quarter to half inch is possible across the mountains, especially the Sierra. Higher totals are expected across northern California. The system will be more of a wind maker than a precipitation maker due to its more overland trajectory. Models are coming into better agreement regarding the wind potential, though there still remains a degree of uncertainty. There is good confidence in gusty north to northwest winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts to 50 miles an hour on Monday and Tuesday across favored wind-prone mountain areas. Peaked winds are expected on Monday. Humidity will likely remain above critical levels, but still be moderately dry, so there could potentially be a concern of elevated fire weather conditions in some windier spots. We'll get a better idea of timing and more specifics in the next day or two. Breezy northeast winds are likely to follow on Wednesday, along with lowering humidity, though there is much lower confidence in this far out, and there will be more to come on this. The recent warm and dry conditions have allowed the dead fuel moistures to significantly drop yet again this season after having peaked from a cooler and moister weather pattern. We will likely continue to dry out through the rest of the week, as there are no major changes in the weather in the next several days. These heavier dry fuels are drier than normal for late October, but not nearly to the extreme dryness that we have seen earlier in the season. The finer dead fuels are more receptive due to the shorter lag time. Live fuels continue to be near or at critical levels. As a result, the background fire danger remains above normal for late October, and there is potential for significant fire activity if we get a substantial offshore wind event without significant precipitation beforehand. Large fire potential remains low, but still present this week, with warm and dry conditions continuing without any significant winds. Initial attack activity will likely be light to moderate through Saturday. For Sunday into early next week, the cooling temperatures and increasing humidity will serve to decrease fire potential. However, gusty northerly winds combined with moderately dry conditions may lead to pockets of elevated fire weather conditions. There still remains plenty of uncertainty in the forecast for mid-next week, but the potential of breezy northeast winds and lowering humidity may increase fire potential on Wednesday for Southern California. Please stay tuned to the forecast as the details become clearer and confidence increases. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Our next webcast will be Friday, October 25th. Have a fantastic day.